Good evening and welcome to Ville News. I'm your host, Becca Patches, along with Ruby Mundok, here to give you the latest campus, local, and national headlines. Stay tuned because Ville News starts now.
After 3 years away, the annual Festival will return to Millersville University campus. The 4th annual event will take place on May 1st and bring together 7 separate bands from different genres of music, including country, R&B, bluegrass, rock, pop, and world. Millersville alumni Big Fat Meanies will perform, along with other bands from the Music Business Technology program. All bands performing have either won or been nominated for Best Band or Group at the 2022 Central Pennsylvania Hall of Fame Music Awards. The day-long celebration will take place at the Student Memorial Center at Ville Courts and will feature international food trucks with Italian, Mexican, Middle Eastern food, and more. The event will also include an indoor beer garden for those over 21. Doors open at 1:30 and the first band will begin at 2, with the final performance starting at 6. Festival is sponsored by the Student Club Marauder Music and the university, with tickets costing $25 for general admission and free with an MUID. All money raised will benefit Ukraine through Church World Services.
Millersville University has made the historic move to extend its tuition freeze for a 4th year. The Board of Governors for Pennsylvania's state system of higher education voted on April 14th to extend the freeze in order to counteract the rising cost of higher education. Millersville President Dr. Daniel Wuba emphasized the additional fiscal challenge added by the pandemic, with the hopes of providing relief to students and their families. In the previous school year, the price of living in the residence halls decreased, bringing down the overall cost of attendance, marking a trend in higher education. The board has previously requested $550 million in state funding to offset the need for a tuition increase, which was part of a renewed partnership between the state system and the Commonwealth. In addition, the board is also seeking $201 million in direct-to-student aid and $75 million to continue the transformation of state-owned universities. Nearly 90,000 students attend Pennsylvania state schools, but with the stabilized tuition, more students will be able to access high-quality public higher education. Now to Ryan Argenti to see what's next with the weather.
Yeah, Becca, we're actually looking at some pretty nice temperatures coming up here, and I actually have the full forecast coming up here in just a bit, so stay tuned to Ville News.
Welcome back to Ville News. Becca, I don't know what happened because last week I was wearing shorts and now I've been bundled up in my winter coat all week.
Yes, I know. I wore a dress today and it's still kind of chilly and it wasn't fun.
No, yeah, I'm not okay with this.
It's sunny but chilly. Yeah. Well, now go to Ryan with the local weather.
Yeah, I do have to agree with you. It's been a pretty chilly couple of weeks we've had, but I do have some good news for you guys. We are looking at some really nice temperatures coming up here, especially for Friday. Looking at the 3-day right now, 66 degrees for tomorrow's highs, 48 for tomorrow night's lows. Checking out Friday, 72 degrees, 48 for a low on Friday with some partly cloudy skies. And checking out our 7-day outlook, Saturday and Sunday, not looking too shabby. I mean, mostly cloudy skies for Saturday, 66 degrees, 48 degrees for a low on Saturday. And then looking at Sunday, check that out, 80 degrees, 52 for a low Sunday. And then looking at Monday and Tuesday, a great start temperature-wise for the beginning of our work week. Back to you at the desk.
An after-school Satan club at an elementary school has been rejected by votes cast by the Northern York School Board. The club was initially proposed by Samantha Groom, a resident of this district. The after-school Satan club is advertised as promoting self-directed education by supporting the intellectual and creative interests of students. According to their website, the group does not worship Satan, but rather seeks to promote free thought and rationalism. The school board vote was nearly unanimous, with Thomas Welch being the only one to vote in favor of the club. Nearly 300 people gathered to share their opinions, with a large majority speaking against the Satan Club, citing both their religious and personal beliefs. Both students and parents were given the opportunity to voice their thoughts, with one mother describing how she had lost her child to a suicide website run by a satanic group. But Lucien Greaves, co-founder of the Temple of Satan, spoke out to say that it was, quote, clear that these people had no idea who we are and what we are doing, end quote.
The Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture has confirmed that the first case of avian flu in nearly 4 decades was found in Lancaster County over the weekend. The case of highly pathogenic avian influenza was found on a poultry farm in East Donegal Township in a flock of domestic poultry. The remaining 1.4 million chickens at the Kreider Farms location have been killed in order to prevent the further spread of the disease. An additional 103 commercial poultry facilities within a 10-kilometer radius have been put in quarantine. The farms are also planning to add extra biosecurity measures to ensure the safety of eggs and other poultry products. Pennsylvania's Agriculture Secretary Russell Redding has stated that there are no immediate public health concerns for citizens, and the state of PA is prepared to respond to this agricultural issue. The Vice President of Operations at Kreider Farm released a statement saying, quote, Kreider Farms, along with the state and USDA officials, have been working around the clock to reduce the risk of further spread of the avian influenza, end quote. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the avian flu detections do not present an immediate public health concern.
Governor Tom Wolf has announced that Department of Health Acting Secretary Kira Kleinpeter will resign from her position on April 22nd. The governor's office explains that the decision comes after Kleinpeter decided to take time off to prepare for the birth of her firstborn child due in June. Wolf spoke of her high achievements and thanked Kleinpeter for her service to the state, along with emphasizing her work in developing policies, guidance, and best practices to support Pennsylvania's public health system. Kleinpeter has only been acting secretary for 5 months following the resignation of Allison Beam, who went on to become the Vice President of Government Affairs and Chief Government Relations Officer at UPMC Hospital. Prior to her current role, Kleinpeter served as the Executive Deputy Secretary for the Department of Health and as a special advisor to the Secretary of Health during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. Secretary Kleinpeter stated, quote, working alongside the Department of Health's devoted staff during a global, once-in-a-lifetime pandemic has been an absolute honor. I am proud of the work we have accomplished to better the lives of all Pennsylvanians, end quote. The governor went on to announce his intention to name physician General Dr. Janice Johnson to take the place of acting secretary. Senate Democratic candidate Tom McDermott has released a political ad of him smoking weed in celebration of 420. In the past, McDermott has been vocal about his support for the legalization of marijuana during his race against Republican Senator Todd Young. But this revolutionary ad comes as a first, as McDermott tweeted, quote, even on 420 Day, not many Senate candidates admit to having smoked weed. I'm not most Senate candidates, end quote. In the video posted to Twitter, the Hammond mayor is seen lighting a joint and smoking it in the backyard of his Illinois home, a state where marijuana consumption has been legalized. McDermott talked to a physician, a criminal defense attorney, and a professional distiller about the benefits of legalizing weed. McDermott was previously featured on the Left of Center podcast, where he retold the story of smoking at a Grateful Dead show at Wrigley Field. But despite the viral ad, Republican Senator Todd Young continues to dominate in fundraising against his Democratic opponent. But with the November 8th elections quickly approaching, there is still time for the tides to change in both campaigns.
In New Jersey, the regulated adult-use cannabis market is set to officially begin sales on Thursday, April 21st. This opening comes nearly 16 months after New Jersey citizens voted to legalize marijuana in the 2020 general election, and after the state missed its original deadline of sales starting February 22nd. Last week, New Jersey's Cannabis Regulatory Commission approved 7 facilities to begin sales to adults 21 and older, with a total of 13 dispensaries across the state. The commission was created in order to establish and enforce regulations governing the licensing, testing, cultivation, selling, and purchasing of cannabis in New Jersey. The delay in getting sales up and running was likely caused by the Commission's efforts to ensure that medical patients who hold state-approved medical ID cards would not lose access to their medicine. As New Jersey moves forward with these new regulations, we'll have to wait and see if other states follow in its footsteps.
Members of a key House committee have officially backed a plan to legalize marijuana, moving the measure forward to the full Missouri House for debate. The House Rule Committee voted 6-4 for the Cannabis Freedom Act, which would require the state of Missouri to issue twice as many marijuana business licenses than were issued under the medical program. Only 4 weeks remain before the legislature's annual session ends, so Tuesday's action set up a possible debate before the full House in the close future. If the proposed plan passes through the House, the Senate would need to react before May 13th to send the legislation to the desk of Governor Mike Parson. Those who voted to push the bill forward were Representatives Ron Hicks, Chuck Bass, Jason Chipman, Rachel Prouty, Wes Rogers, and Ashley Ahn. Along with the bill, the Legal Missouri 2022 campaign is currently collecting signatures for a place on the November 8th ballot. The campaign has collected 200,000 signatures already, surpassing the 170,000 signatures required. Now to Ryan Argenti with the full forecast.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Ville News. I'm student meteorologist Ryan Argenti here with your latest weather forecast for Ville News, and checking out Lancaster Skycam right now. Not too bad right now. Those baby blue skies are hanging around just over Lancaster, and those temperatures, I'll tell you what, 52 to 56 degrees. A little bit more milder, a little cooler from today's highs, but sunny and cooler, not too bad going into the rest of tonight. And speaking of tonight, 36 to 40 degrees. We do drop down into some cooler temperatures, but we are looking at some partly cloudy conditions, no precipitation for tonight, so that's a plus. But as we head into Thursday we're looking at 64 to 68 degrees, so a little bit milder. We're starting to go up in temperatures a little bit. Increasing clouds, but we're a little bit seasonable for this time of year. And as we head into Thursday night, 46 degrees, around 50 degrees. We'll stay around that range right there, right in the mid to upper 40s. Mainly clear conditions and rather mild for temperatures in late April, or late April evening, that is. And then checking out Friday. Friday's looking really nice right now. We're spoiled. I'll tell you what, we are spoiled conditions-wise. 70 to 74 degrees. Check that out. Check that out. You guys are asking for warm weather. Well, here you go. It's right there. And then looking at the conditions, though, mostly sunny conditions and fairly pleasant. So a little gift from Mother Nature, if you will. And checking out the radar right now, nothing on the radar currently. And as we head into the futurecast, we see a little bit of high pressure just off the East Coast right now, and that's in close enough proximity that will be giving us these mainly clear conditions. But as we head into Thursday a little bit, GFS models, that's a meteorological model that I'm speaking of. Models saying we might see some rain, but I think with that high pressure that's in close enough proximity to us, I think it's going to push those clouds away. Maybe a couple residual clouds, but other than that, we'll be looking pretty nice for the next few days coming up. We do have a system that will lift north, so that won't be affecting us too much. And we do see that system right now, that low pressure system, and that will start to make its way over to us here on the eastern seaboard as we head into Monday and even into Tuesday. But we'll get into that here in the 3-day and 7-day outlook. As I was saying, we are looking at some very, very nice conditions. 58 was our high today. 38 will be our low for tonight with very clear conditions. Thursday, we're looking at 66 degrees for a high, 48 for a low. Thursday's not looking too bad, some clouds and sun. And we're looking at 72 degrees for a high Friday, 48 degrees for Friday night's lows with some clouds and sun again. And look at this starting lineup, 66 degrees for Saturday's highs, 80 degrees for Sunday's highs. And then going into Monday and Tuesday, we are pretty mild as we start the beginning of our school and work week. This weather presentation has been brought to you by the Millersville University Campus Weather Service. Visit us at millersville.edu/weather center for all of your latest weather updates. And back to you at the desk.
That's all we have this week for Ville News. Thank you for watching, and tune in next week for the newest local, state, and national headlines. And have a Merry 420.